Collecting data. The research process doesn't begin nor does it end with data collection. Before worthwhile data collection can be done, the researcher must focus the problem, identify and define the basic concepts involved, select variables that relate to each of the concepts under study, devise ways of measuring each of the variables, select a research design which will provide the desired information about the relation between variables, decide on a sampling procedure, draw the sample. Unless each of these essential first steps is completed, data collection will often be done in a wasteful and unproductive way. Words to wise researchers. You are asking people to do you a favor. You are appealing to their generosity to help you with your work. This is true even if you are asking friends, family, or students you know. It's much more true if you are going into the community to do your research. You have a responsibility to the subjects of your research to be considerate and not to waste their time. Part of being considerate is being prepared. This often provides interesting feedback to the researcher that those being studied. It's usually recommended to have a letter of recommendation signed by your lecturer. This will help identify you and secure cooperation with those you want to include in your research. If you expect people to answer questions about themselves and their families honestly and openly, the very least you can do is to keep their answers strictly confidential. Part of maintaining the anonymity of your respondents and the groups you study involves the way you report your findings. To sum up, when collecting data, be attentive to the needs, feelings, and privacy of others. Be careful, ask for permission, and comply with the provisions of any agreements that you enter into with the objects of your research. The ethics of research. Various bodies from professional associations to university councils have developed codes of ethics to guide researchers. They were designed so that an overzealous researcher wouldn't overstep ethical boundaries when collecting data. Whenever possible, the investigator should inform people about the goals and ultimately about the results of the investigation. Where this is not possible, the researcher undertakes to indicate to the subject the general nature of the knowledge obtained as a result of such research and their potential value for people. Researchers need to actively consider, through proper consultation with the local cultural differences, special personality factors in subjects, or deviations of procedures from previously reported procedures may create unexpected problems for the subject. If the personal nature of information involved, the investigator has to treat data confidential and to conceal identities when reporting results. Studies, whether or not explicitly confidential, must respect the privacy and psychological well-being of non-volunteers. Investigators have the responsibility to maintain the highest standards of safety in procedure, equipment, and premises. Also, where research involves infants and young children as subjects, consent should be obtained from their parents. And to sum up, if the research was conducted not in accordance with these principles, it should be re-evaluated by another investigator or responsible senior colleague. Attention to detail. The loss of detail in data collection may make the data analysis impossible. It is important to pay careful attention to detail in observation. There are some suggestions. Firstly, keep the data on computer disk and on paper. Also, keep notes. Write down all your ideas in a research journal. The next suggestion is to keep a record of all materials. author, the date of publication, the title of the work cited. Here you can see two examples, a sample card for an article and a sample card for a book. Keep note cards. Write down the direct quotation, the paraphrase, or summary. Number the references in the text and then spell them out at the end of the chapter. And try to use the data collection sheets. Keep a separate record of the data collected for each individual or group you study. Ask the question, what is the unit of analysis in your research? And here you can see the sample of note card with that direct quotation with that paraphrase or summary. Thank you for attention.